Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome back to the 53206 cast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Meg.
And this is a podcast, Meg.
Yeah.
Do you know what this is a podcast about?
I mean, I'm assuming you're going to bring up a topic.
Well, I think so.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see if we have enough to talk about with it.
All right.
If we don't, then this isn't a podcast.
This will not get published. Yeah. We'll see. Play it by ear.
But I think, there's always... Oh, just so if you're brand new to the podcast, I'm Alex. That's Meg. We already covered that. This is a podcast about rethinking inner city spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I think this is what I want the podcast to be about. Okay. So, Meg, when I think about the inner city, there are certain attributes.
Mm-hmm.
Or not even attributes. There are certain things that people are concerned about.
Okay.
First thing people might be concerned about is poverty.
Okay.
Okay. That's a concern,
Mm-hmm.
right? Second thing people might be concerned about is violence.
Yeah.
That is a thing to be concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
The third thing, and I didn't make a list, so this is not...
I was just thinking, I would like to make this list so I remember what you're talking about. It's great. I'm making the list.
Okay. Well, when I think, and these are things that when someone is talking about the issues of the inner city that they're going to be talking about. So poverty, violence,
Housing, food insecurity.
Good. Okay. The fifth one would kind of, and this is the one that I'm pretty interested in. I mean, I'm interested in housing and education, of course.
I was going to say, is education on this
that list? Yeah.
Yeah.
The last one, and it's something that, when people talk about the future of a space, that's the thing that they worry about, or an issue that is concerning.
Are we talking about bunnies in the inner city?
That's super funny because I had forgotten that you mentioned that. But yes, we are actually talking about bunnies.
Okay, a little backstory here. So the inner city does not have any bunnies. Like, it's a gardener's dream. Okay, I'm a big gardener. I do not like bunnies. And last year we had one bunny in the yard, and that bunny unfortunately did not make it out of the yard because of our dog.
The dog killed that bunny?
The dog killed that bunny.
That's really funny because when you saw a bunny yesterday, the first thing you did is you came into the house and you said, "Oh, we have a bunny in the yard." And then the second thing you did was to let the dog out into the yard.
Yes. I just wanted the Monty to go around and make sure she
keep the bunnies away.
I am an animal person, okay? I'm not out to kill all the bunnies, but I do not want a bunny in my yard. But so the funny part is about there's no bunnies in the inner city, and
very few.
I always say that when we start to see bunnies, it's like a sign of gentrification.
I don't know enough about the bunny population to know
yeah.
why there's rabbits.
It seems weird that there's no bunnies in our neighborhood, but you go over to Hollard Park, which is somewhat being gentrified, and there are bunnies over there.
Yeah, I don't know what keeps a bunny away.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the stray dogs or the raccoons.
Yeah.
Or it's probably the cats.
The cats are pretty. They're pretty.
There's some wild cats over here.
Yeah.
But there's something that keeps the bunnies away.
Mm-hmm.
And you did see a bunny.
I did.
And there are always these little signs that it may be. You may be in the middle of gentrification.
Yeah.
I don't think that we are.
No.
I think we got a long way to go before we get to that. But Meg, when you, this is probably why this was on my mind. I had totally forgotten about the bunny situation. But this is why it's probably on my mind is that because people will ask me about gentrification. Mm-hmm. And, I'm just about done with the White House on the corner. Mm-hmm. It is almost not white anymore.
It's almost, what is it?
Windswept smoke.
Windswept smoke. Be sure to go back and listen to that episode. It's a good one.
It's almost the windswept smokehouse on the. It's still gonna be the White House on the corner to me.
Yeah.
My parents really like to come up with the names
which
for the
is
houses,
fun. Yeah,
which
yeah.
is fun.
Yeah.
My dad comes up all the time and works on them with me, and my sister will come over and and he and my mom, my dad and my mom are saying, well, yeah, you got to come up with a new name.
Oh.
It's going to be hard. It's always hard, like when you've called a house, you know, because a lot of times then like it becomes the tenants.
Yeah.
Like if you have a tenant for 7 years, you know, you associate that house with that tenant.
Even if somebody else lives there, you still call it that house. Yeah, that person's name.
Yeah, I guess the only one that's different is Charlie's house because it's just kind of always.
Yeah.
And I mean, he hasn't lived there in 5 years.
I think longer.
6. Yeah, it's been 5 or 6 years. And even in the house that we're in right now, we still call it by the name of the woman that used to live here. That one I think will always. Yeah. I don't know what else we'd call it, but
she's too special.
Yeah, but the White House on the corner is almost done. It is punch list time on the White House on the corner,
and I feel like it's really exciting because it's such a nice. It's so nice and it's so wonderful, and you have really wanted. So a previous tenant of ours, like a tenant that we have right now, current tenant, thank you. She's been wonderful. She has like her family's. There's more people that are staying there now just due to a hard circumstance. And so you've been saying, oh, this house would be really great for her. This house would be really great for her. And she finally came over and she was like, this house is so cute. And I told her kind of. When I was talking with her about it, I was like, this is like you leveling up a little bit. And so I was really excited that she said yes to it. Just because it's essentially 2 flats that she's getting.
The house was originally a single family. It's like our house. It was originally a single family house. At some point in our house was turned into a duplex in the 40s. This one I think was like the 60s.
Okay. Yeah.
And it would have been fine as a duplex. Yeah. The houses that have been converted don't usually have 2 entrances for the upper unit. Yeah. You still have egress out of it, which is like a code thing you need. So if there's like a fire, you can still get out of it. Okay. I don't know that I would have been fine with it being a duplex. Yeah. But I don't know. But it wasn't originally intended to be a duplex.
That's interesting you say that because, there's no front.
There's only one front door. Yeah. The other duplexes have 2 front doors and then a back door that is a stairwell for the with another entry door to each of the 2 units. So
2 stairwells like on opposite sides.
At the front, yes.
And at the back.
The back there's only 1 stairwell, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, 2 entrances on each
2
side.
Entrances. Yeah. So it ends up being a lot of different keys, which can be a problem when someone loses their keys because I just have so many keys.
And they all look the same.
And
a lot of times I'm in charge of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
So-and-so got locked out. Can you run the key bin over there and figure it out?
Yeah.
Someday, Meg, when I have a couple of hours, I will go through and organize all the keys.
You'll never do that.
But that's probably never going to actually happen. Yeah. But anyways, the White House in the corner is almost done. Yeah. And you know, I don't remember who it was, and it's not a big deal, but you know, someone, and probably more than one person, if I actually sat and thought about it for a minute, you know, has mentioned like this house is super nice. Mm-hmm. Are you worried about gentrification? Yeah. And are you worried about gentrification is a lot of times the way that people will will talk, start that conversation. Yeah. And, you know, this is kind of the thesis of this podcast episode is, you know, gentrification isn't a good thing because it displaces people. Yeah. And when you displace somebody, you know, I think of it as, you know, this one event or, you know, like the Buck Stadium. Mm-hmm. You know, that I would consider that to be an event. Yeah. You know, there's something took place that drastically altered the value of that property. Yeah. When I think about that, you know, me renovating a house on the corner of 8th and Ring, it's not doing anything. But you know what? But the pace at which that change occurs is pretty rapid, overall. Mm-hmm. So you know, you put a brand new $1 billion stadium. Sure. that's going to make a lot of change.
Yeah.
Right. And, Pfizer didn't build the stadium. The Milwaukee Bucks built the stadium, but their name is on it, But the Milwaukee Bucks, they're not under any kind of requirement to really worry about gentrification. Like, they're going to build a stadium.
Yeah.
And that stadium probably makes the most sense where the stadium is. It's a good spot for the stadium.
Yeah.
And it's good for the downtown area and all the other development that'll come out of it. But in a neighborhood like ours, it's about 2 miles from there. Obviously one house isn't gonna actually make a difference.
Yeah.
But the thing I wanted to talk about with gentrification is, there are things that can happen to improve the neighborhood. And I've said this phrase before, that there can't just be two options with gentrification.
Yeah.
It can't just stay the way it is, or it can't just overnight, in quotes, some super rapid change.
Yeah.
Because that will displace people.
Yeah.
It'll either always be run down and shitty, or it'll get rapidly changed. And so there's got to be somewhere in the middle. And so when I think about that, I'm like, the pacing of it is the thing that I think kind of keeps gentrification from happening, or at least would, give people enough time and space to absorb the changes and not be displaced.
Yeah.
Because if our neighborhood became trendy overnight, like, that's a problem. That's a problem because you're taking advantage of people, and the people that are still there are now paying higher rents in theory, probably not from us, but like higher rents in theory, because the land is more valuable, and now people can charge you more. A duplex that you could stay in for $800 a month now costs $15, and that you can't afford that, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't keep up with the progress of the neighborhood. And so I know that me personally, and Meg, you and I have talked a lot, so I would think you also personally are 100% on board with improvements to the neighborhood.
Well, it makes me think of, do you remember when Reggie Jackson was on our podcast and he talked about the cost of, I think he used to live over on, what was it, like 14th and Concordia?
Yeah, within 10 blocks from our house.
Yeah. Do you remember how much, I think like he went around and he counted up how much each of the homes were worth there. And it was like $400,000.
Sure, it was.
It was something.
It was
ridiculous.
like an entire block, and it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I look on Zillow a lot, and I never believed that the home values wouldn't go up.
Yeah.
I kind of, because when our house with brand new siding, new roof, brand new kitchen, converted to a single family, brand new garage, 3-car garage. That house, it was insane at the time to only be worth $25,000 or $30,000, but it never occurred to me that it would stay that way forever.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
It's absurd. And so, the houses are going to go up in value. Yeah. And I think that they've gone up in value at a pace that doesn't remove people from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. Yeah. Because if I'm a property owner, whether or not I physically own my own house or I'm a renter, a building that is worth $100,000 is going to be treated differently than a building that's worth $30,000. Just like a building that's worth $200,000 is going to be treated differently. And anytime there's like that crazy disparity between the home values, like, that's not good. It's not good for the homeowner. It's not good for the tenant. It's not really good for anybody. And if they're going to, catch up someday to houses that are a mile to the east of us, they're going to slowly over time increase in value, which, does get people to put a little bit of money into the properties. Yeah. I would say, this year, 2025, I've seen more work done on buildings than I did in 24 and 23 and 20. It's gone up steadily. Yeah. But what I'm not seeing is, and I'm happy, frankly, I'm a little pretty happy to not see this. I'm not seeing like brand new builds that are, Habitat houses are different because a lot of that, I don't know the ins and outs of Habitat. Mm-hmm. I like Habitat, no issue with Habitat, but a lot of that money's donated.
Well, and I feel like I've talked to people who live in houses. One of my good friends, she lives over on Brown Street, and she's had a lot of Habitat houses, and I'm like, how is the community? How is living over here cause she stayed over there forever. And she's like, it's really good. It's really, so I'm like, these are good. Yeah. Good people. Good.
Right.
Yeah.
But
good for the community.
Yeah. But what I'm happy that I'm not seeing is 24 unit apartment complexes where half of them are affordable and half of them aren't affordable. I'm happy that I'm not seeing stuff like that because to me, that is similar, obviously not on the scale of the Buck Stadium, but that's an event. That's a thing that is changing the fabric of the community.
Yeah.
It might work out good. It might work out fine. But Meg, our zip code has 800 vacant lots in it. And right now you cannot physically build a house on any of those lots and have it be even remotely profitable. You have to go through something like Habitat.
Yeah.
Or I'm sure there's a couple of other programs that are going to try and do the same thing. But you have to do that because the numbers just don't even make any sense. The numbers on the White House on the corner don't make any sense. They make sense if you can rent it for like 5 years. Then it kind of starts to make sense. And then it makes more sense the longer that you keep it. But, if I were to do a brand new build, we're talking $300,000.
Yeah.
Minimum 200, probably 300. And there's just no way that you would ever recover enough to make it worthwhile, right? So, we have a long way to go in order to get to that point, but I'm glad that I'm not seeing, just massive change.
Yeah.
Because that tells me that, okay, we are still in the window before, any kind of real, what you would consider to be gentrification would take place. But a lot of people will lump in, and that's really kind of the point I'm trying to make is like this distinguishing between progress and gentrification, and that progress is good. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Can I kind of change directions a little bit? So, I mean, when we're talking about gentrification, I think a lot of people they're scared to do, and I feel like this hits a few different areas too, but people are scared to do anything in the inner city because they don't want to gentrify.
Sure.
I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons people are scared to do things in the inner city. They don't want to be a white savior. They don't want to, they don't want to do something wrong. But I think like what we've seen over and over again is if you do something, it's better than doing nothing.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you bring up the concept of white savior because pretty much all the lunch crew is white. And I would never in a million years would I look at that group of women, and there's one guy that comes too, but I would never look at that group and be like, oh, you guys are a bunch of white saviors, because they work their ass off to give lunch to 150 kids.
And you're talking about the lunch crew at We Got This.
Yeah, We Got This,
feeds 140 kids lunch
and
snack.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do it patriotically.
Right. And fills all the water jugs. And is constantly trying to source things for the organization.
Oh my gosh.
It's
incredible.
Yeah, and so I almost don't even. I'm sure that exists, the white savior mentality, but
I think when you come into an inner city space, your eyes get opened, and I think you realize, oh wow, like I could spend my whole life trying to work on this, and it's just a drop in the hat. It's
drop in the hat.
Is that the wrong saying?
Yeah, that's not quite. Yeah,
a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, I don't know what you're dropping in your hat, but you drop whatever you want in your hat, Meg.
A drop in the bucket. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. We've used that phrase before.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So I mean, I think you come to a space and you realize, wow, like the list: poverty, violence, housing, food insecurity, education, like. You pick one of those, and I think a lot of times when we talk about inner city spaces, we refer it to a big tangled knot, and this knot has so many different ways that like needs to be pulled on and stretched and fixed, and we all can play a part. And so I think like when we're thinking about gentrification, fear should not be on the table.
Yeah, because if you are trying to improve, I mean, unless you're like some kind of crazy wealthy developer and you are going to go build some ridiculous thing in the community, you're probably not.
Yeah.
You're probably not, because very few people are.
Yeah.
And you're probably not listening to this podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the truth here.
So, but yeah, the pace at which things improve.
Yeah.
It matters.
Mm-hmm.
And and keeping in mind, what the potential negative consequences of a positive action could be. I mean, it does really kind of tie into what you just were talking about with the white savior mentality.
Mm-hmm.
There is absolutely no reason why, somebody that is handy and can do construction could and maybe should buy a building over here, fix it, and then provide a really high quality rental experience. Because we're very aware of the fact that high quality rentals are a huge commodity.
Yeah.
They are an insane commodity.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't work on the outside of the White House on the corner without, like, I have like these timelines that I try to keep, Meg.
Yes, I know.
And I know like how long things are supposed to take. Well, it was important to me as I was becoming, however you want to say this, but a professional in the rehab, in remodeling, that like professionals have a timeline and they, it doesn't really matter what the timeline is, but you need to, in order to know what to charge someone, you have to know how long it's going to take you. And you are guessing a lot of times, but it's a skill. And like any other skill, you can develop that. But as you know, I was becoming a professional in that, timelines are super important, but my timelines are always, I'm just like always adding 50% when I'm working outside because I know that I am going to be stopped by a random person coming by. Is this place for rent?
Yeah.
Hey, I know this person that wants to rent from you.
Yeah.
And it's not, I've never had a sign out there that says for rent.
Yeah.
And I could, if I needed to rent a building or a unit, I could have it rented tomorrow.
And I feel like the amount of incredible renters, like, are very, very, very good. I am pushing for this, we'll have one vacant, and I'm like, oh, I really hope it's just the one guy who's lived there for 50 years that, like, he doesn't like the place he's living in. And you probably don't, I don't even know if you know who I'm talking about, but he's incredible. Yeah.
So, and, the only reason why that was brought up to you, Meg, was because finding a place that you have a landlord that's close by that will fix the things that break, that won't try to cheat you, that will answer your phone call.
Yeah.
That it's hard to find. It's hard to find anywhere, probably.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to find here.
Yeah.
And, there's so many people that don't have that. And so, if we had double that, I'm not the only one that offers that, right? I'm not. That would be ridiculous if I was. But like, I have a friend of mine that I knew from when I worked in schools that bought a place like 4 blocks from us, and he's going to fix it up and he's going to rent it out, probably to family. I think was the plan. But that's not gentrification. That's, and I think this house like was in his family or something, cool. Or his husband's family.
Yeah.
So like that's progress.
Yeah.
That's making it a little bit better because the house is currently sitting empty and like that's not useful. That's progress. That's not gentrification.
Yeah.
And so those two things are very different. The end result might look literally the same, but I don't know. I think progress has a story behind it.
Yeah.
And gentrification isn't really, there's not really a story to it. It's more like, I just wanted to put this thing here, and so I did.
Yeah.
And now
I feel like a bottom line and money, it probably plays into that a lot too.
Sure.
Into gentrification at least.
Yeah. I would think so.
Yeah.
So. But so we didn't end early.
We had something to talk about. Yeah, those bunnies.
Well, the dog will keep him out of the yard.
Yes.
I hope that the dog does not get a bunny because I'm the one that's responsible for cleaning up the.
And I do feel like so like our kids don't see bunnies ever. So like bunnies are like actually like when we see a bunny like on a hike, we're like, oh my gosh, it's a bunny. Like everyone's real excited. So I do feel like our kids are going to have a hard time with a bunny being laid out in the backyard.
So you would rather have in the yard a giant possum walking through the yard than a bunny? If
Yeah.
you had to pick possum
Yes.
or bunny, you would pick
Yes.
possum?
Possum, because they are not eating my garden.
All right.
Sorry about that.
What about
And,
cat?
The thing is, we don't have cats in our yard. The cats can like smell, and they know the smell of Monty, so we don't. Possums, and I'm gonna say possums pretend they're dead and then walk away.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you don't have to clean up the possums.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll keep you posted on the bunny situation.
Thanks for listening.
Yep. Catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.